A surprise for you. Exactly as predicted. Again, very, very exciting. 140 was my target for Nvidia. We had that in the newsletter. It was all there. It was. Exactly. And now I also predicted you that you'd have a face-ripping rally. And it was imminent. It's happening live right now. Portfolio has gone absolutely bonkers. In the last few seconds after hours, the S&P 500 has gone through the flipping roof. Look at that. That is a face-ripping rally. There's lots of reasons for this. I'm going to share some of it with you. It's very, very, very exciting evening. All-time highs, about to break through. When we break through, 10%. However, I'm just checking some information as I make this statement to you. There are some things to consider. Very, very important things to consider. I'll wait for everyone to get in and I'll let you know exactly what I mean. But this is huge news. And it's probably the biggest news in a couple of years. But it's very, very dangerous. I'm just going to wait for everyone to come in. Give you all a couple of seconds. This is the face-ripping rally I talked about that I promised would come, but I want to make sure that everybody is aware what not to do. This is really important. I care about my investors. I'm sorry about that location. I'm just the studio is shut down. This is I just got out of the shower and I wanted to bring this to you. So just give me a second, wait for everyone to come in. Please tap, if you tap the like button, everybody, it will share it out to more people quicker, and then I can give you all the news. Look at that. The face-ripping rally is just kicking in, and it's nothing to do with Nvidia. I'll explain what it is in a second. Just if everyone can tap the like button, it will share it out. Everybody will realize we're live, and then I can tell you what's going on and what not to do. This is a really, really important video live stream, because if everybody rushes to buy this, you could get yourself caught out. And I want to explain exactly what's going on. So I'm just checking my phone for all my messages coming through. I want to make sure what's going on. Okay. I'm just checking this. This is what I'm concerned about, and it's going to catch everybody out. So I just want to make sure that everybody is aware. Okay. Right. I think we got enough people. I'm sorry for the location, folks. There's not really a good place to be. I'm just I just had a shower, so I just wanted to share the information. So let me explain what's going on and what's not going on. Right. Let me get my data up. Bloody hell. Okay, sorry about this, folks. I'm just trying to bring you this in the best way possible. Right. So essentially, this is what's happening. I made the prediction that we'd get 140 on Nvidia. We got exactly 140. I think everybody can agree. Some people got a bit excited saying it could go further. And I said, no, 140 because of tariff conditions and other political conditions. So we got 140. We will get to 200 within 12 months, but 140 was correct. Now, all week, I've been promising you a face-ripping rally, and I've been saying that I would make $10,000 on the open on Tuesday. Well, I made 4,200 in the first couple of seconds, and all the trolls came in and said I was wrong. Well, in the first couple of seconds, I was wrong. And then when a few hours later, it went to 6 grand, 8 grand, and now it's gone to 13 grand. Okay? It's a face-ripping rally. That's the best 24 hours, no, the second or third best 24 hours I've ever had. Now, why is it going up so violently? What's going on? What is a face-ripping rally, and why is it happening? Well, there's several reasons, and there's several things you should or shouldn't do. So first of all, there's trillions of dollars on the sidelines waiting to come in. And typically, through history, if you look at all the things that we've had happen, and you have to have all these things. It's not just one thing. It's not just one chart. It's a lot of things. There's several things you have to consider. When the S&P 500 is under 200-day moving average, when you've got 17 times earnings, when you've got sorry, 17 times earning on the S&P, when you've got PPI and CPI and GDP and inflation and all these things and record historically high interest for a while, all these combinations of things, and you've got macro conditions, uncertainty, so on. It's not one thing; it's a whole package of things. And then the market sold off because of Trump's playing around with tariffs. That was a go signal when it went down, that V shape. I bought that. I bought that massively. I used all my cash, all my margin, refinanced. I did everything I could to get as much in as possible. So I did. That was the moment to buy. Not before, not after, not since. That moment. And I've made that quite clear, not to buy anywhere past that point. Today we said the Nvidia would be 140 on earnings, and it was. And then I said all week, there's a face-ripping rally any moment, imminent. There's trillions of dollars on the sideline. Now, I know this because I speak to banks all the time. I know CEOs want to buy back, and everybody was waiting for a go sign. When you've got real money, you don't risk it. People wait and they hold back. And they were waiting for this signal. So it was money already applied to buy the Mag 7, the top of the tree, the S&P 500. So should you buy now? Absolutely not. I'll tell you why. Because we're about to hit an all-time high. We're just a couple of dollars away now. And when we do, we'll go up 10%. So you might say, well, great. Why shouldn't I buy? Well, because what comes next? If you bought the bottom on the V-shape, then it was a really, really good buy. And that's why I bought it. However, it's not the right time to buy now because we're going to approach the top and there's a big, big concern that can change everything. And this is why I'm saying don't buy now. I've been warning everybody that next year and the rest of the year it will go sideways and then next year it will go down. The reason for that is we have got a major carry unwind around the corner potentially. This is not 100% certain, but extremely likely. It's a very dangerous situation. Essentially, everything has just changed. The global economy is about to shift. Crypto is part of that. Bitcoin is part of that, and that really is going to accelerate the transition. We've now got the U.S. government much more proactive and much more pro crypto, and up to this point, people have seen Bitcoin as a bit crazy and nuts and stuff like that. And we've now got a lot more people adopting it, institutions and so on, but that isn't enough. What you need for everyone to switch from what their parents told them and their parents told them about the stock market and how to invest, to change that and get everybody to believe that Bitcoin is the way forward and that's a dominant thing, you need a system to completely break. And I don't mean depressions, recessions. I don't mean anything like that. I mean something much more serious, and we could be about to get one. So this is fantastic. The market has rallied, and if you were in and you're holding, it's great. You'll be okay. But if you're buying this rally, you are taking a big risk because we could wake up tonight, tomorrow, at any moment. Just like I said, the face ripping rally was imminent. I was right. I'll be right on this as well. We could at any moment have a full carry trade unwind. What that means is a lot of people don't pay attention to Japan and think, well, it's only got 2 million, it's only got 2% of the world's population. Who cares? It's not important. It's not a superpower, even though it has one of the largest economies in the world. The reason why it does and why this is so important is because people in Japan, institutions in Japan, banks in Japan, they buy US debt in huge numbers. Why do they do that? Well, they actually hold up the global economy and no one even pays attention to it. It's because they've had negative interest. So it's very, very cheap to borrow money. You're encouraged to borrow money to buy other countries' assets, bonds, government debt, and stocks. Now, a few months ago, we had that big 20% drop when partially the carry trade was unwound because people were getting margin called because they borrowed money to buy government US interests, and then when the interest rates went up a tiny little bit in Japan, and we're talking tiny amounts, hardly anything at all, they got margin called. They were up to the hill borrowing money. So they got margin called. When they got margin called, the stocks were liquidated. The stocks in the US went down. That's what happened. That was a buying opportunity. I bought that. I also bought the macro dip with Trump with the tariff situation. If you've just tuned in, we're experiencing the face-ripping rally I talked about. This is what I predicted was going to happen. It's happening right now. It's got nothing to do with Nvidia. And it can come before this. So the market is being pumped now because money is flooding in. However, if you're already in, that's great. This is why I bought it. But if you're not in, don't. Because we could go up 10%, fantastic, and then we dump and then go sideways. Well, that doesn't matter if you're already in. You just buy more, right? But if you're chasing it now, you could be out of the money for a long time. Now, the problem is this. If Japan raised their rate, and they are raising rates, by 1%, the global economy could plummet, especially the US, because the US will go first. And the reason for this is because so many people are borrowing money to buy US securities and US equities. They'd be margin called. They're right on the edge. And all those stocks would then collapse because people would be selling because they'd be liquidated, right? That's not the biggest problem. The biggest problem is Japan banks are now, for the first time, on the edge of selling bonds. Not just not buying anymore, but selling. And if they sell those bonds, then the US economy can drop 40%. This is not an exaggeration. This is a real thing. So why is the market pumping right now? It's absolutely surging. This is the S&P 500 after hours, up nearly 2% after hours. Pretty crazy. It caught everybody out. Remember, you only need to be in the market a couple of times in your entire life to change everything. It's why I say you always be in the market. It's why I'm always in. Every penny I've got, all my margins in, all my refinancing in, everything is in. This moment was coming. I've been predicting it now for a week, saying this would happen. But you mustn't chase this, because if you do chase this, you could get really, really in a lot of pain. Because what will happen is, if Japan raises the rates by 1%, and if Japan, which they're already doing, they don't buy bonds and they start to sell them, the US stock market can drop 40%. So we're rallying potentially before a dump. Now, we don't know if that's going to happen, but it's extremely likely and highly probable and highly possible. So you've got to recognize when to buy the stock market. Well, we recognize that. We bought it on the last carry trade, unwind, and we bought it on Trump's crash of the market with the tariffs. I then said, don't buy anymore. Don't do anything. You've got to wait now to see what happens with everything that's going on in the world. Let it all settle down. So if we do get a carry trade unwind, and it goes back down to where it was a few weeks ago with the tariff Trump V-shape, I've been paying down my margin since then. I won't be selling where I am now at all-time highs and taking my profit. I will simply be buying more because I don't know if those things are going to happen. So what I will do is hold, do absolutely nothing, and then buy the dip when it goes down because I've now reduced my margin. But here is the big story of the day. You thought that was important. Now there's something even more important. And let me tell you about this. As you know, I only own the S&P 500 because I've been trying to do what's right for you. And that's what I continue to do. So I don't own any crypto or Bitcoin. I'm only in the S&P. However, on today's show, at the end of the end video, we had a discussion. Should I be buying Bitcoin? Should I do now what's right for me? Because if I only own the S&P and we do have a carry trade and we do drop down, we could go sideways for years on the S&P 500. I mean 4 or 5 years. So nobody wants to watch me go nowhere, because you watch the show because we're always winning. Our predictions are nearly always right, and I'm making money. I've got all-time highs. I've taken 5,000 to 500,000, nearly 400,000. By the end of this year, it will be 500,000. People watch that because it's success, and you want to follow somebody who's being successful. Why would you want to watch somebody who's losing all their money? Not much point. So the right thing to do now could be to buy Bitcoin. And I'll tell you why. Because if we do have a full carry trade unwind and Japan collapses, if that happens, the stock market is going to go sideways for 5 years. And people are finally going to say the safe haven now is Bitcoin. Bitcoin will fall down with it at first, but then people won't buy back stocks. They'll buy back Bitcoin en masse. So should I start buying Bitcoin? Should I start massing Bitcoin? I'll have $500,000 in a minute. Why not? Could buy $100,000. I could buy a whole Bitcoin, couldn't I? So should I? I don't know. Because at the end of the day, even if I think that people will now decide to turn to Bitcoin, no matter how crazy something is once upon a time, it doesn't always end up being crazy, does it? We used to say it was crazy to fly or go to the moon or electricity or TV, and now we take it for granted. We take it for granted now that Bitcoin's $100,000. One day we might take it for granted it's $1 million and just think, well, it's fine, because you only buy $10 of it. It's the same story, right? So we might get used to it and it might be the normal. However, no matter how normal it might be and how safe it might be, the fact of the matter is, businesses, if no one buys them, will become too cheap that they will be bought again. It's just a cycle. Because even if Bitcoin is the safest thing to own and all of that is great, you're still going to need food, computers, cars, electricity, Coca-Cola, Johnson & Johnson, Tesla, whatever. Those businesses will still need to function and produce stuff. We can't just sit around with our Bitcoin. We need stuff. So if we need stuff, people are going to make stuff. And if people make stuff, they make profit. And if they make profit, they have a business. And if they have a business, you own it. So you're not going to suddenly have everybody sell everything just to buy Bitcoin and take Bitcoin to $1 trillion, are you? Because stocks will be so cheap, somebody will go, well, I'll buy them all. I mean, and then you end up back where you started. So you don't want to look at it like, I just want to buy Bitcoin and I'll sell everything. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is maybe consider that as something that should be in your portfolio. So just to sum up, I apologize for the location. I'm just sat on the edge of the bed because I just had a shower after the show, and I thought I had to share this with you to give all my members a warning. Every prediction I've made in the last 18 months has been spot on. The only one that hasn't come true yet is our Virgin Galactic short squeeze. Well, it did. We had a short squeeze, then people sold, and we'll get another one. So that was right. But the 140 on Nvidia was right. The face ripping rally was right. The $10,000 on the open on Tuesday, well, it was 4,000. I said I'd be 10,000 up. I was 4,200 up. A couple hours later, it was 6,000. Overnight, it was 8,000. Now it's 13,000. So I wasn't right to the second, but we can still argue I was right, but I'll admit I was wrong to the second, of course. And I've been promising for 11 days now. I checked it. 11 days, a face-ripping rally. Well, here it is. It's delivered. There will be profit taking. You don't want to buy this. There's a real concern of a carry trade unwind. There's a real case of a 40% drop in the stock market. For all the reasons I've explained that no one's even focusing on and talking about, because it's not really that a sexy story. It's not even on CNBC. So none of the reports are talking about this. But it's a real thing. Only 1% interest go up on Japanese interest rates, and it will happen. The Japanese banks are already stopping buying bonds. They're not buying bonds at all. If they start selling them, which it's a good sign, a good chance they will tomorrow, then many Japanese investors will get liquidated and US stocks will plummet. So this is what I'm doing. I'm fully invested. I've got $400,000. I've been reducing margin now for 2 months. I've got my biggest ever dividend payout coming up end of this month, which will pay my margin interest now because I've been reducing it and the stocks are going up, so the dividends are going up. I will be buying nothing. I've got enough now to take me to $1 million by the end of the year. I will not be selling. I'll be enjoying the rally and may it continue when we don't have a carry trade. And I'll continue paying down my margin. However, if it does drop 40%, I can live with that. Even with margin, I can go down 40, I can go down 50% actually. Then I'll buy more. I'll buy more because at the end of the day, no matter what happens with the carry trade, when the stock market crashes so much, it becomes worth buying again. And I'll accumulate. My job between now and when I retire is not make profit, is to accumulate as much stock as possible. So when I end up retiring, I can borrow against it and I'll have all the money I need in the world. There is my message to you this evening. The price target was delivered. The face ripping rally was delivered. And that's what I'll be doing and may suggest that's what you should do. Thank you very much for tuning in. I love you all. I'll see you back in the morning. Sensei will be live. And it's been a wonderful, wonderful evening once again. Wherever you are around the world tonight, take care of yourselves and each other. Ta-ra.